And in a firm declaration of intent, the government has issued an ultimatum to the 20 migrants who have refused to board the Bibi Stockholm. Get on the barge or face losing all support. That said, Rishi Sunak seems no closer to establishing a deterrent after Number 10 said they were not actively pursuing any proposals to send Channel migrants to Ascension Island. So it's back to battling lefty lawyers over the Rwanda plan then. The stalemate has prompted Dr. Rakib Ehsan to write in the Daily Telegraph that only a hostile environment can stop illegal migration. He added that there needs to be a truly national effort to dismantle people smuggling networks, as well as punishing exploitative bosses who employ illegal migrants and unscrupulous landlords who house them in overcrowded properties. So what do you think? Do we need to foster a more hostile environment? To stop the boats. Dan at gbnews.com. Vote in our poll at GB News on Twitter. Those results shortly, and Henry Bolton and Nina Mishkov are riled and ready to debate this in the studio. Before that, though, I want to bring in Dr. Rakib Ehsan himself to make his case. So what do you mean by a more hostile environment, Rakib?
Well, firstly, Dan, I think it's very important that we do shore up our border security, and I hope that the Illegal Migration Act goes some way towards that. But what I argue for in my latest piece for The Telegraph is, along with strengthening our border security, we should toughen our law and order policies within our borders. As we know, we have some very serious problems with people smuggling networks in the UK, but also have connections in other countries such as France, Germany and Belgium. So what I argue for in the piece is that the National Crime Agency is given greater powers, freedoms and resources to cooperate with their counterparts in other countries to dismantle those people smuggling networks. But I also think that we have to consider how we have this illegal immigration ecosystem where we have active participants within it that benefit from illegal immigration. And that includes exploitative bosses who knowingly employ illegal workers. And those illegal workers are provided with accommodation by what I call unscrupulous landlords. So I really want to see tougher penalties, including prison sentences, for individuals, including those exploitative bosses, unscrupulous landlords and people smuggling gangmasters who knowingly smuggle people into the country and benefit from the, what I would consider the illegal immigration industry.
I understand that. Dr. Rakib Ehsan, do stand by. Back in the studio, I've got Nina Mishkov and Henry Bolton with me. Nina, how can you disagree with that?
The thing is, I'm all for law and order, I'm all for the rules, I'm all for people not being exploited. But this whole thing is a mess because of the incompetence of this government, the incompetence particularly of the Home Office. And the Bibi Stockholm...
Yeah, but what is wrong with creating a hostile environment to try and stop illegal migration?
A hostile environment. Well, you can start with saying it's the landlords, it's the exploitative employers. You can start with that. But then the thing is, it becomes divisive in society, and you become...
So you want to roll out the welcome mat, do you?
It becomes us and them. It becomes... Look, everybody knows we have, in the past, been always a very welcome and humane society to refugees.
Yes, but where are we putting these 50,000 people a year? And actually, Nina, the issue is these 50,000 illegals, mostly economic migrants who are coming over, do you not understand, are taking the place of genuine refugees, genuine asylum seekers who are following the rules.
Over 70% of asylum seekers are granted asylum.
That does not mean that they should be granted asylum.
Come on. Come on.
You know, I spent 3 years...
Don't be naive, Nina.
Come on.
I spent 3 years in the southern Balkans working in 5 countries to combat transnational organised crime with a focus on dealing with dismantling people smuggling networks. They do not move refugees. They move economic migrants.
But there are
economic migrants who are claiming asylum and then being assessed by people who have not got sufficient training.
Economic... It is not... No.
Yes.
Three lawyers out of 220,000 have been found
discovered this far.
Now, look, just a minute. Can we just stop this? You talk about illegal asylum seekers. You talk about...
Illegal migrants.
Illegal migrants. What happened to refugees? There are genuine refugees,
Yes,
and they have to be
coming from France.
They,
You're not understanding, Nina. Let's just be really
international
clear.
law. International law means
coming on the boat
international.
via the channel are
Yes,
in France, a first world country.
international law means that they can go to the country. They can pass through as many countries as they like to get to the country they would like to.
Nina,
That is international
you're
law.
partly correct.
I am correct.
You're partly correct. However, the United Nations Convention for Refugees recognises that, in principle, they should register for asylum in the first safe country that they reach. These people are crossing a multitude of safe countries.
Many people are fleeing torture, war, imprisonment.
The number of people who come across the Channel who have fled torture and are fleeing torture in order to get to Britain, or that's the motivation for crossing the Channel, is rubbish.
They are allowed to go to the country they want to.
What Rakib
Stop shouting at me.
which is about hostile environment. Now,
a hostile environment.
I don't understand, right?
It will not stop people coming.
Expecting to put 50,000 folk a year. Do you want to continue to put them in
No.
hotels?
I'll tell you what needs to happen. There needs to be set up in countries abroad places where they can apply for asylum. So there's a safe route. There are only safe routes for people from Afghanistan, Hong Kong and Ukraine.
So why can't they apply in Italy, for example, when they land in Italy?
No, they can't apply in Italy. Because we don't have any facilities.
They can apply in Italy.
No, they can't.
They can apply in France.
Selina, what you want to do is throw the borders open.
No, I don't want to throw the borders open. No, I do not want to. Our
many
country,
would you accept?
look, legal migrants that the government has actually okayed were 500,000 last year.
606,000.
600, exactly. So this is a tiny minority.
It's part of it.
Listen, our country has been built on migrants. Our country is.
Nina, let Henry.
The Home Office needs to.
We're fueling organised crime,
Nina,
and we're
you've
fueling.
got to let Henry have the final word.
No, I won't. 170,000. I have a backlog of 170,000 people, and people waiting for long. Get them.
Be fair, play fair.
And a word after that. Okay.
There are 2 points here. 606,000 people overall. OK, what pressure is that putting on our housing, on our own homelessness, our own poverty?
We're not discussing that.
Well, you mentioned the overall figure.
I'm saying.
Now, I'm saying the overall figure.
The boat people are a tiny minority.
OK,
the immigrants are fueling organised crime.
They need to be processed and get them working.
Do we need a more hostile environment
paying
for people
taxes?
exacerbating the migrant crisis?
For heaven's
They're not
sake.
qualified to do anything.
These guys are going to keep going while I read your feedback out. Diana on Twitter says, we need to do whatever is necessary now. Leave it, they're still going, guys. Leaving the ECHR would be a good start. Enough is enough. Guys, you've got to show these viewers respect. You've got to listen to what they have to say. From Lacal, not hostile but firm with swift removal back to their country of departure. And Ebenezer writes, if Britain got rid of the word great and replaced it with poor, we might not be so appealing to migrants. Your verdict is now in. 83% of you with Henry Bolton and Dr. Rakib Ehsan that we do need a more hostile environment and national effort to solve the migrant crisis. 17% of you with Ina Mishkov saying that we don't.